Hello fellas, this is Frankie Day here on YouTube. Okay guys, this is video number 3 for my Balsa build of my Dumas Rearwin Speedster. Gosh folks, I've been at this pretty much off and on for about 4 or 5 days on. So far the fuselage is about, it's 100% done, with the exception of the undercarriage and the top wing, and also the wing struts will follow, will complete the build. And so the fuselage has all been covered with the lightest tissue that's available. Because of this kit, this aircraft is extremely light, and that's about the way I want it. Okay folks, so what I did, I got the whole frame all sanded down and prepared for covering. I gave a coat of glue, diluted with water to about the consistency of heavy cream, and I saturated the larger rods so that the covering will cover it quite well. So I've done this in pieces, folks. Instead of using larger sheets of tissue, I use sections at a time. That way you can control it, and actually when it overlaps each other, the seam will disappear. Just make sure it's saturated. And so anyway folks, I got this pretty well 90% done in the fuselage, with the exception of the undercarriage, which would make 100%. And I got the wing all done, and I'll show you the wing and also the fuselage structure. And after the tissue was applied, I let it dry real well. Applied it on. There's 2 methods of applying tissue, folks. Either it's wet or it's dry. The best method to do is whatever suits the model. When you're working on stick tissue models, you want to make sure that you apply the tissue on dry. Then once the glue dries, you can spray it with some denatured alcohol and water mixed together, and that'll tighten up the tissue. Then you go ahead and seal instead of using the hideous banana oil smelling Aerogloss dope, which is very hard to find. The only place where you'd be able to pick up nitrate dope or butyrate dope is either probably one oldest manufacturer that there is still available. It's SIG Manufacturing Company, or go to the airport and they'll give you, they can sell you some butyrate dope or nitrate dope. But those dope days over for me. So the best way to seal tissue models, folks, is this can of Krylon right here. This stuff here is good stuff. It's called Magic in a Can. It's called Krylon Clear, as you can see. And this stuff here is the best there is. It will make that model shine for 10-20 years without fears of yellowing, and also fears of the airplane warping. Because I had a lot of Balsa models I built before years ago using butyrate nitrate dopes mixed together, you know. And after years and years goes by, and the wing turns into a propeller, and the stabilizer turns into a corkscrew, and the plane is actually ruined. So this method of using Krylon works pretty well. And there's other methods out there. It works for me. Okay folks, enough chatter. We're going to go back and I'll show you what I got done on the Rearwin Speedster. And we'll get back and see what's on the agenda out there for what I'll be doing next. So far, the agenda so far, I'll be more or less concentrating on unfinished builds that I started and haven't got done yet, which is very neat to be done immediately. Okay folks, I'm going to switch over here and we'll take a look at this. There she is, boys. This is the fuselage structure I've got done on it. It's very extremely light. And the nose plug is removable. It comes off. Right here is the nose plug right there, and the back is the key, which keeps this thing centered inside the fuselage. Now what I'm going to do here, folks, with this little holes at right here, I'm going to put some 5-minute epoxy. I'm going to make me a strap. It's going to be movable with a screw. That way I can adjust the thrust of my prop. See, a key ingredient of stick and tissue models is trimming the airplane. The best way to trim the airplane is, first, before you add any power to it, is more or less test fly it in a long, tall, grassy field, so it can replicate percussion, keep your plane from getting damaged. And so anyway, like that one's glide right's good to add your power. Now you got to add, when you add your thrust, your prop settings, it's always best to use down thrust only. Then you can control your circles by power glide by using thrust. And you set the rudders also removable too. Okay, fellas, so over here, you know, as we see around this way, the rudder right here is movable for trim only. So, like I say, if I want this airplane to go for a good right power glide and also a glide pattern to the right, just kick the rudder to the right, and that'll act torque also with right thrust and with down thrust added. It acts at good trim. If you want the airplane to go to the left, just use reverse your thrust while putting left thrust, down thrust, or best thing to do is just give it right rudder without adding your side right thrust, left thrust, because the counter torque your prop will pull the plane to the left anyway. So there's other ways of trimming your plane, folks. You know, you just got every airplane is like a kit. They all build differently, and so you got to trim this airplane quite well before you add power to it. Once the airplane's well balanced and flies quite well, then you can add your power to it. You can add about anywhere from 2 to 4 strands, which will power this. And I was thinking seriously about putting a blast tube in this thing to keep the revamp from shattering and brakes won't actually damage the rods. And all the fine work. The airplane's been covered, guys, with light tissue because of the kit. Then when it's dried, I gave it a blast to this stuff right here. This Krylon clear I showed you a while ago, fellas. Magic at the can. And once it dried, I went ahead and took my airbrush and antique white, not white, but antique, more or less like an antique beige color. It was the color for it. I went ahead and airbrushed this. So by airbrushing paint on, don't add that much weight, but if you use a paintbrush, folks, on paint tissue, that adds weight. Same thing with dope, which goes on tissue, which is actually highly recommended to use. But there's the substitutes work quite well. For instance, by using this Krylon right here, I don't have to worry about dope no more. It does the same job Krylon does. And you can go ahead and paint your model. The best way to paint it is with an airbrush, because there's not that much weight on it. I don't know how many grams this thing weighs, but it's extremely light. A gust of wind will blow it away. And I got the wing complete too. And show you the wing here, fellas. Here's the wing right here, down to the structure. And it's a 30-inch wingspan this buzzard has. And tonight I'm going to cover the wing. The trailing edges and the leading edges of the wing has been sanded smooth. I need to give it another final sanding before I start covering it. And so I've had this wing covered by tonight. And I'll work on the wing struts. And once the wing dries, I'll go ahead and give it a couple coats of Krylon. And I'll go ahead and airbrush the same color as the fuselage and add the decals. The decals in this kit, they're more or less the peel type instead of the water-based decals. They work okay, folks, though, but you know, water slides is the best. You know, somehow the best way to seal these peel-off decals is take a sealing iron, like you use for monocoque covering on your plane. You just go over the decals with a hot sealing gun. It'll reactivate that glue and make it stick to the surface real good. It'll never come off. That's what I've done on this right here. Just give it extra assurance that it won't unpeel on me during the passage of time. The rudder, the power of this thing is going to be about 4 strands of tan rubber, and probably take about 600 turns. And hopefully I get a nice line flight out of it. Once I get a good flight out of it, I'll take my camera and take a picture of you guys and post some details to watch. And this is the first time I've built a balsa wood airplane in a long time. And it's kind of funny, folks. Once you shy away from it for a while and get back on it again, you just pick up after you left off. And no forgetfulness at all. That's all there. Same thing with plastic and card models. So I'm pretty versatile in what I do. You know, I work with almost anything to get my flippers on. Anyway, fellas, this is about as far as I got on her. So tonight I'm going to go ahead and sand this wing down and give it this last sanding and prepare it for covering and work on the wing struts. And the next video will be the attachment of the wing and the wing struts too. And all that's left is the undercarriage and also the windscreen, and she's done. Okay, folks, I'm going to take this wing off here and set it back over here out of the way so it won't get disturbed. And we'll swing the camera over here. I'm going to finish up the video. There he is right here. Yes, sir. That's the man right there. At least I think I am. Oh, okay, fellas. Alright, fellas, that concludes video number 3 from my Balsa Build and my Rearwin Speedster. And the next video will follow the attachment of the wing and everything. Again, folks, I'd like to thank everybody out there for your wonderful condolences and your thoughts and everything. For that video, made me and my wife together. She was very pleased with this, and so was I. And she says, "You know something, Frank? So now I know why you're back here making videos all the time. So Ruth, it's just like talking to your neighbors. It's the same thing. It's you're in touch with everybody, and we're all people here, and we all have the same feelings. This is a very wonderful modeling community, and again, folks, I'd like to thank you guys out there. I mean, I'm very serious. You know, I'd like to thank you very much for your wonderful condolences and everything. It means a lot to me and my wife, and she's doing good now. She's getting a little grouchy once in a while, so I really have no other way. I told you, there's a grouch away, baby girl. There's a grouch away. The more grouchy you are, the better you feel, and that's how I like to have it. Okay, guys. Warren, he's got that Edward kit, 1/32 scale Messerschmitt 109. He's doing a fantastic job on it. He's starting to get the canopy all finished and everything on it. It's a wonderful kit. He said as soon as he finishes that, he's gonna get started on the 1/24 scale Typhoon group build, buddy build. And so I'm in. Just when he gives me the green light, the 2 thumbs up, we're ready to get this thing rock and rolling. And he's probably got a couple other builds too he's going to come up on. So anyway, in between that build and what's going on now, I'm going to start catching up on a lot of these builds I got started and need to be done. There's some finishes. This is going to be fast. It won't take long to get this thing all ready to go. It builds all the sub-assemblies is all done, so just covering and putting everything together. That's it. She's all done, ready for the clouds. So I'm going to hop on to Arizona next, get the Titanic going, get her out of here. And I'm going to finish up Styrene Panzer's German bomber group build, which is long and many long overdue. My Junkers 88 by Revell, 1/32 scale. So she's ready for the final painting. I took a look at her last night, blew off some dust on it, make sure it's good and clean. I have to give it a good bath before I start painting it again. And so all the pre-shading is done on it, so it's ready for its final paint. And I got that right over there, so I got plenty of paint for that. I need to clear up a model bench after I finish up this Rearwin Speedster. That's what's shaking on the agenda, folks. Okay, guys, enough said, enough done tonight. So stay tuned for the video number 4, which will be the attachment of the top wing and also the wing struts. And the final reveal will follow once the undercarriage is all done. And I'll put her and let it set for a while and get some rubber and take her out to the field and fly her. Okay, boys, this is Frankie Day signing off. It's time for me to get out of here right now, guys. And I'd like to thank everybody again for tuning in, and may God bless and happy modeling. And again, folks, thank you very much for the condolences and everything to my wife. I'm very, very grateful to each one of you guys out there. You guys are the greatest in the world. And I just wish I meet everybody in the flesh, you know, but where things are, it's kind of hard to do, but this is close enough. Okay, guys, I'm out of here right now. This is Frankie Day signing off. May God bless. Make Mama happy. And we'll catch you guys in the next video. Bye, fellas.